Hello artists, and welcome back to art class. For this week's project, I'm going to be showing you how you can take a simple circular shape and turn it into an optical illusion and make it look like a three-dimensional sphere. You can do coloring with the different things, but in general you're going to need a piece of paper, pencil to draw with. Definitely draw with pencil first. I'm going to do mine with marker as usual, just so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. You're going to need a ruler, or if you do not have a ruler, you can use the edge of a book, edge of a notebook, something straight just to help you make a couple straight lines and to help you with your checkerboard background, and then something to color with. There are a ton of different ways that you can color this, as you can see by these examples. You can use colored pencil, you can use marker, crayon, whatever you have. I mean, you can use paint if you want to go there, all right? But I'm going to go over with you on how to draw the spheres and do the checkerboard backgrounds, and then you will be able to go and create your own. So let's get started. My two other examples are actually horizontally on paper, but you can hold your paper horizontally or vertically. I'm going to do a vertical one since I realized I didn't have a vertical example. You are also going to need possibly something round to trace because it's easier if it's like more of a perfect circle. I'm going to do a larger circle and a smaller circle. You could do 2 circles, you could do 3, whatever you want to do. You could even just do 1 if that is what you would prefer to do and it's pretty large. So I have the top of my eraser container that I'm going to use for a large one, and for a smaller circle I'm going to use the bottom of my hand sanitizer bottle. So you're going to start off by tracing your circles. So I'm going to take my marker here and I'm going to trace my circles. They could be anywhere on the paper. I suggest putting one closer to one corner and the other closer to the other, just to balance it out and show good composition, and space. So, you know, the way that your things are arranged on your paper so they're not all squished together in one corner, spread them out and have them have balance so it's not taking over the whole one half of the paper. So I am going to, all right, so I've got my one circle there, and I'm going to take the bottom of my hand sanitizer. That was a little tricky. So I have my 2 circles. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of eyeball inside of my circles where I think the center is. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm going to kind of make a little mark in the middle of my circles to show that. And I'm going to use my ruler to do a vertical line straight up and down and a horizontal line straight across. I'm going to do that for both of my spheres. Now I'm going to put the ruler down and I'm going to draw in the rest of my circles. You can kind of see what I did here. And your lines are going to curve with the shape of the circle. So you have to think about the lines that curve along with the shape. They're going to go sideways and up and down as well. So if I start with my big circle here, I'm going to start curving my lines like that. I'm going to do 1, 2. I'm actually just going to do 2 because I don't want to squish them in too much. I'm going to do the same thing down here. 1 and 2. And then I'm going to do the same thing with vertical lines going like this. So again, 1 and 2. All right, like that. And you can already see that it kind of looks like if you took like a fishnet and like wrapped it around a basketball, it's the way that the net would stretch or move. So I'm going to do the same thing with my circle down here. So I have my spheres done. Now the only thing left to do is to take your ruler and you're going to fill in the background with just a basic checkerboard pattern. So just doing lines straight up and down. Don't go through your sphere, go behind it, and horizontal lines going side to side just to create a basic squared checkered background. After you're done drawing your spheres and doing your checkerboard background, the next step is to color. So like I said, you can use whatever you have at home. You could paint it if you want to, if you feel like you're up for a challenge. Marker is a fantastic choice, like this blue and orange one that I did up here. You could also do a background with marker and maybe do a little bit of shading and show some value with some colored pencil. So it depends on how you would like to present your project. One thing that I do want to demonstrate is that, especially with this markered one, a way that you can make it look like your spheres are kind of floating is to take a black colored pencil or a crayon and create a cast shadow behind your sphere, okay? A cast shadow is the shadow that's cast onto the surface below an object. So for example, if you were to take a basketball on a sunny day and put it on the ground, you would see a little bit of shadow on the basketball where the sun's not hitting it, and there would be a shadow of the basketball on the ground. And the one that's on the ground is the cast shadow. And if you create this little cast shadow behind your spheres, it'll make them look like they're floating a little. So you can just take, a black crayon or whatever, pick a direction for your sun to come. So I'm gonna pretend that my sun is shining from this direction. So all of this up here would be lighter, and kind of underneath, just following the shape of my sphere, I'm gonna add just a little touch of shading, nothing crazy, just a little smidge. And it'll kind of make it look like my spheres are floating above my checkerboard background a little bit. I'm gonna add one over here and a little one over here. Just a little scribbly, not too crazy. Go along the edge. And then that way, when you look at it, it kind of creates that little cast shadow on the background and makes it look like your spheres are floating a little bit. When you are coloring, you are also choosing 2 colors. Remember, it's a checkerboard pattern, so make sure you pay attention to what square you're making what color. Same thing on here. If you need to come back to this video and pause it just to take a look at the example to help you color it, that's totally fine too. That's what these videos are for. But don't forget when you're done to take a picture of your artwork and send it to me so I can give you a grade. And I'm looking forward to seeing how you choose to create your 3D op art spheres. And I will see you guys again next time for art class. Bye!